Howdy, howdy, howdy. My name's Anachi Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. Or something. So, in the last episode, we read about the unseen mold, which clings to people's faces incognito and kills other people who do not see it. Because it's unseen! Now we're going to do the skin worm, which sounds awful. Let's see if it's safe. I was joking? Okay. Let's see why something known as a skin worm, that is on a subject that it says now deceased, is safe. SCP-21 is an obligate parasite of the human body. Containment, therefore, is no more difficult than containing an adult human. Most cells will suffice. Item is currently housed in Detention Cell 217A on Subject D-139. Only Class D personnel are eligible for hosting 21. As long as a given subject survives as a host for 21, they are exempt from normal monthly terminations of Class D personnel. Okay, so every month they just get killed then, even if they're not. Does that mean they just killed the Class D personnel? I get that the D means disposable, but does that mean they just pick them off every month whether or not they've done anything? That's kind of fucked up. Anyway, description. 21 takes the form of a large and elaborate tattoo of a serpentine dragon in the Oriental style, covering approximately 0.8 square meters of skin. Okay, cool. That's 8 feet. Wait, what? Okay, yeah, I don't. Does that mean it's 8 inches and a half? This was nowhere near as helpful as I was hoping, but anyway, now I know I can just Google that. This tattoo is fully animate within the confines of its host skin and behaves largely as a normal animal would, albeit in only 2 dimensions. The tattoo's movement causes constant pain to its host, comparable and similar in character to simultaneous tattooing and tattoo removal on a large scale. The organism tends to spend most of its time on and near the torso. SCP-21 displays no intelligence beyond a basic pattern of feeding and locomotion, although actually measuring the intelligence of a 2-dimensional lifeform has proven impossible thus far. 21 appears to feed exclusively on pigments in the host's skin. This can include melanin, in which case the subject appears to be suffering from vitiligo. However, the organism shows a marked preference for other tattoos and will seek out and devour these before resorting to natural pigments. It should be noted that the feeding process itself, beyond the sensation of movement, is painless. Normal tattoo ink simply vanishes as it is eaten. The organism maintains a constant size and no excretions have been observed. The organism is capable of clearing over with 0.6 square meters of skin per hour, so 6 inches and some change. One may feed 21 by quickly tattooing fruits or small animals on the host. How do you quickly tattoo some fruits or animals on somebody? What, like with a pen? Whatever. 21 can be transferred between hosts by various forms of physical contact with differing rates of success. In the case of successful transfer, the organism simply swims from one person to the other. Sexual intercourse appears to be the most reliable method of transfer, with a 93% rate of transmission. Hey baby, you wanna feel my sexual parasite dragon? What? Yeah, okay, so, however, due to the severe pain involved, this is less than ideal. So, I mean, if it's less than ideal because of the severe pain, but what if they're into pain? Anyway, contact between 2 open wounds is generally preferable. Transfer is more complicated in deceased subjects, though not unreasonably so. The organism suffers no ill effects from the death of its host and continues to consume pigments. Transmission between species is unknown. Previous tests suggest it to be either impossible or exceedingly rare. 21 does confer some benefits to its host. The tattoo has been proven to accelerate the release and reuptake of epinephrine, and decreased lactic acid buildup, providing boosts of strength, confidence, and pain tolerance in stressful situations, and reducing the usual after effects of weakness and fatigue. In addition, the tattoo seems to have some beneficial effect on the host's immune system. Aggression profiles in hosts are generally higher than average, though whether this is a direct effect of the tattoo or simply a reaction to the constant pain remains to be seen. The symbiotic relationship is usually limited by how long the host can tolerate such pain in everyday life. This has culminated in a suicide in a number of subjects. In rare cases, hosts have also fallen victim to fatal skin infections. SCP-21's origins and nature are a mystery. Tracing its transmission from host to host and ghost to coast and coast to coast is hardly feasible within the confines of secrecy, and the organism could well be hundreds of years old, if not more. Nevertheless, 21's captivity is one of the longest in the Foundation's history at nearly data-expunged years, and has been very educational thus far. Current research focuses mainly on observing the characteristics of life in 2 dimensions. Okay then, let's see if the Morgue is safe, since the skin worm is so friendly. Okay, the Morgue is Euclid class. Okay, now we're back to normal. A vault door has been installed following the incident of 22827 to seal SCP-22. It is to remain locked at all times, with the sole exception of being the appearance of an instance of SCP-22-1. The original door to 22 was destroyed during 22-827, with attempts at replacement being met with failure. Security cameras have been installed to monitor for instances of 22-1. In the event that an instance of 22-1 appears, automated systems should incinerate it the moment it leaves 22. At this point, the vault door may be unlocked to admit cleanup crews. Should the automated systems fail to destroy the instance of 22-1, response teams are cleared to enter and neutralize it. Under no circumstances may any living human enter 22 except at the order of Class 4 personnel for testing purposes, so disposable people. Class 4 personnel may also order instances of 22-1 to be captured and held. However, they may not be removed from 22 containment facilities. Description: 22 is a morgue in the basement of blank hospital in Great Britain. Until 1980-something, there were no reported anomalous occurrences within the morgue. Reports of strange activity were first received in November of 1980-something. The area was soon quarantined by the Foundation, with an official story being released that the entire building had been condemned. The reason for the sudden manifestation of its strange properties remains under investigation. Periodically, a random drawer within the morgue will open to reveal a cadaver under a covered sheet. After approximately 6 minutes open, the cadaver will animate and attempt to leave the morgue. At this point, the cadaver is given the designation of 22-1. In some cases, the cadaver will be too damaged or decomposed to successfully exit 22, or even rise from the table it lies on. In this case, 22-1 will typically struggle and twitch on the table until expiration occurs. Should an instance of 22-1 expire while remaining on the table slides back into the drawer, which then shuts. Reports indicate that the scent of burnt tissue was evident immediately following such an event. So, if it dies before it gets up and moves around, the morgue burns it? The energy source that sustains instances of 22-1 is currently unknown. Instances do not breathe, eat, or sleep, and their bodies produce no heat. Analysis of 22-1 following expiration has discovered no abnormal organs or chemicals present. They appear to be fully human cadavers. So they're like zombies, except they don't eat anything. Cool. If I click this, will open it or will be a new window? I'll get back to it. Instances also possess physical strength that exceeds that of normal humans, so they're super zombies. Though direct testing has proven problematic, researchers estimate the strength to be approximately 500 newtons, 112 pounds, of lifting force greater than one would expect of a human body sharing a similar condition. What, being dead? Analysis is underway to determine if this effect is connected to the unknown power source, or if it is an entirely separate phenomenon. When body parts are severed from 22-1, the portion with the greatest mass retains its effects. All other pieces become inert. The balls are I shouldn't have made that joke while talking about body parts. Destruction of the head or brain does not neutralize 22-1. Instead, the lower torso and limbs remain animate. Complete tissue deconstruction appears to be the only method of successfully terminating instances of 22-1. This sounds more like the zombies from the Return of the Living Dead movies. Like how in the, the Night of the Living Dead movies. It's Return of the Living Dead where you just have the zombies complaining about pain but also still being able to talk like normal. Such as, send more paramedics. Anyway, left alone, instances of 22-1 will simply expire. All motion ceases and they appear to become normal cadavers again. The amount of time this takes depends on how damaged the body is and the rate of decomposition, and can take anywhere between 2 days and 3 weeks. Investigation has revealed that the bodies acting as 22-1 match the description of cadavers reported to have been stolen from morgues across the country. The mechanism for this transfer is currently being researched. Adding any new matter to 22 has thus far proved impossible. Any object that enters 22 disappears shortly after passing through the door, leaving no trace. This includes inanimate objects and biological specimens. See Addenda 22-1 and 22-2. So long as an instance of 22-1 possesses a functioning mouth, tongue, and trachea, it is able to communicate fully with researchers. See interview 22-751 for details. I will get back to that after these two things. Addendum 22-1. A request has been submitted to create a new entrance to 22 by removing a portion of the south wall, pending approval. A pile of matter was discovered on the floor of the room directly above 22. It appeared to contain all matter that had been sent into 22 with the exception of humans. All materials appeared broken and worn down. Metallic components were discovered in large amounts of rust with all biological parts in various stages of decomposition. Testing revealed that the time between inserting an object into 22 and it appearing above to be precisely 183 seconds. Humans who enter, however, do not appear in said pile. Instead, humans appear to become integrated into the morgue and may later animate as instances of 22-1. Now let's check out their interview. Each of the following interviews began in much the same way. The instance of 22-1 will typically be hysterical until Foundation personnel are able to calm/restrain them. These portions have been omitted. March something, 1980 something. 22-1-2. Interviewer, Dr. something. Notes. 22-1-2 was the second instance of 22-1 that the Foundation discovered, the first having been destroyed on site by Foundation agents. 22-1-2 had the body of an Asian male approximately 54 years old. Its chest had been stitched up, evidence of an autopsy. Please identify yourself. My name is John something. What the hell's going on? That's what we're trying to figure out, John. How did you get to this state? I don't know. I was driving my car coming home from... never mind. I was driving and I crashed. Then what happened? Nothing! I woke up here, please. This has to be... Unintelligible. So you remember being in a car accident, then woke up here in the morgue. Do you have any idea how you got here? I didn't get here, don't you get it? This isn't me, I'm not me! What do you mean you aren't you? At this point, SCP-0212 became severely agitated and had to be physically restrained. This required 6 agents due to the strength increase associated with instances of 21-1. Eventually, 22-1-2 was calmed and the interview proceeded. Now, would you please explain what you meant? This is not me! I saw my reflection in the steel! I'm not some old Asian fuck! This isn't me! End log. Following the last statement, 22-1-2 began to smash its head against the wall. Once further restrained, it began to scream unintelligibly for several hours before falling silent. It continued to struggle, though apparently unable to speak, for an additional 6 days until it finally ceased motion. During this time, it continued decomposing at a natural rate. An examination of the body following this interview was unable to determine a cause of death as many of the internal organs had been removed. The only injury that did not appear to be a result of the previous surgery autopsy was a damaged trachea. Okay, March something, 1980 something. This is the 5th one. 1-5 animated shortly after disposable 5619 was sent into 22 and subsequently disappeared. 1-5 had the body of an approximately 12-year-old female missing its right arm and a large portion of its torso. Following the incident with 1-3, all instances of 22-1 are physically restrained before being introduced to valuable personnel, with 1-5 being no exception. Please state your name. What did you bastards do to me? Please state your name. What the fuck did you do to me? We've done nothing to you now. Please state your name. You know who I fucking am. Refresh my memory then, please. I'm the guinea pig you just fucked up. Don't tell me you forgot me, Dr. Asshole. Are you D5619? In the flesh! And for your information, jackass, my name is Redacted. Now change me back, you son of a bitch! Change me fucking back! At this point, Dr. Something Something asked 1-5 several questions to verify its identity. Though its identity was confirmed to be that of D5619, no further useful information was gained from 1-5. It was kept in a holding cell until expiring 2 days later. After 3 weeks, the body animated as 1-7. In a brief interview with 1-7, it claimed to be an 89-year-old female. So it sounds like it just sort of... it takes the bodies and then shuffles who they actually were. Interesting. Okay. I don't get why that one is Euclid, though. I mean, okay, it takes people and it makes them disappear and then come back dead. But it sounds a lot less terrible than the safe skin worm. Anyway, let's see what a black shuck is. Let's see what the shuck this is. Ha. It's a... what is that, a shadow wolf? It's Euclid, whatever it is. And the first bit is scratched off. It used to be 23s to be contained in a standard 5x5 meter containment unit. I guess something bad happened, because now it is to be contained in a walled-off intersection of 2 corridors at site blank, with at least 3 meters of space in each direction and false doors at 3 of the 4 ends, in addition to the real door. Security cameras will be placed and maintained above all 4 doors. At all times, 23's eye sockets are to be filled with spherical units made of hard rubber. Eye inserts must be replaced as they degrade. Degradation... I think that's right, Degradation can be monitored by observing the brightness of the burning effect, as observed by security footage. Brightness greater than 12 candela require... what the hell is a candela? I am not a scientist. Requires that the inserts be replaced within 12 hours. Eye inserts are only to be replaced individually and only after the sun has completely set. Personnel are not to look directly into the eye sockets of 23 at any time. Following Incident 2327, all reflective surfaces, including displays, monitors, and eyewear of any sort, are not permitted within 30 meters of 23's cell. This includes monitors linked to security cameras within its enclosure. Security personnel posted at checkpoints outside both corridors will enforce and adhere to this measure. Experimentation involving 23 has been suspended indefinitely. Okay. 23 is a large, sexless, shaggy canine, 1.5 meters at the shoulder, black fur. It used to have bright orange red eyes and prominent teeth. Why is the eyes mother's love? What? Okay, I'll get back to that. And prominent teeth. See that. I'll get back to that too. Anytime an individual makes eye contact with 23, either that person or a member of their immediate family will die exactly 1 year after eye contact is broken. What? Research into the method of selection is incomplete due to a moratorium on experiments, but the available data suggests that having a larger immediate family lessens the chance of the individual making eye contact themselves dying, and neither a pattern nor a preference in victim types has been found. This may indicate that 23's victim is designated entirely at random, but it is unknown whether this selection occurs at the beginning or at the end of the 1 year time period. Attempts to terminate an individual's made eye contact with 23 and their entire immediate family before the 1 year time period has ended, data expunged. Autopsies of individuals killed by 23's effects show that, while outwardly appearing unharmed, their remains have been filled in with highly compacted ash, including, but not limited to, all organ systems and the circulatory system. Muscle tissue, bones, and brain tissue universally show signs of exposure to temperatures above something degrees Celsius. See, now, I can probably find out what that temperature is, but I don't want... How hot does the human body turn into ash to be in my Google results? So I'm not going to do that. If not contained in a setting that is at least superficially resembles a crossroads, 23 will phase through walls to get to the nearest suitable location, incinerating all material it passes through. 23 was first brought to the Foundation's attention when it attacked a church in somewhere while it was in session, killing so amount of civilians directly and redacted as a result of eye contact. Following retrieval of 23, Class B amnesiacs were administered to all witnesses and surviving victims. The incident was covered up as a case of arson. Addendum 23-1. 23 broke containment on something by passing through its cell wall. Incident 23-1. 23 was later discovered at the intersection of two corridors elsewhere on Site Something. Agent Someone noted 23's similarity to a redacted. Special containment procedures for 23 updated. Assistant researcher Something issued a reprimand for negligence. I wonder if he was saying he resembled a Crossroads demon. 23 has been responsible for the deaths of blank personnel and blank civilians since it was first brought into containment on October 12th something 94. Why blank the number before 94? That's weird. It can only really be 18 or 19. Request for reclassification to Keter pending. Addendum 4. Due to both anomalies focusing on specific geographic spaces, their destructive capabilities, and canine appearance, it is possible that SCP-1111-1 may be a variant of the same phenomenon observed in S-23, or vice versa. Investigation into the origin of both anomalies is ongoing. Due to the inability to capture 1111-1 for study, investigations are currently focused on 23. So first let's see what the this is. The passions of the dead can be vast and mighty, but we are not all-powerful. There are things that I can never see. There are things I can never touch. There are things I can never overpower. Because of that, there are many things I can never protect my children who birthed me from. Because of that, oftentimes they die in bitterness and pain. Because of that, their deaths can also birth hates, large and small. Hates are things I can see and touch. I must see and touch them because my children who birthed me cannot. I must protect my children who birthed me where I can, just as my strange brethren are driven to curse them. I do not have the power to unmake hates. The best I can do is bind them to a seal made from things that my children who birthed me can see and touch. The truth of our nature is, all we have and are, and denial of that truth is denial of our power, but more importantly, my children who birthed me can guard themselves against that what they can see and touch. The form of a ladybird, beetle, or butterfly is a fine seal for small hates, and a seal of that size, it is easy for me to reduce the power of their curses to almost nothing. The larger seals needed to hold larger hates that are more difficult. A hate sealed as a cat can still cause sickness and misfortune. Then there are vast hates, birthed from wars and plagues that together many of my children who birthed me. There are a few loves vast enough to deny the truth of their nature, but I have tried once. It was a hate birthed out of the smoldering rage in the hearts of so many who died, knowing that their bodies will be burned together in a pit of pestilence and anonymity. I don't know how to say that word the right way. I always fuck it up. I rarely call upon the power of the light that brings life to create a seal, but there was little choice against a hate natured so strongly of death. That sounds like it was probably a hate caused by the Holocaust. The weakest part of any seal is always in the eyes, because they are the windows to the soul. My children who birthed me only believe that in that as a concept, but concepts are far more real to my brethren, whether they are strange or not, and I than what my children who birthed me would think of as concrete. To line up the windows is to make an open path between a soul and the most vile curse a sealed hate can inflict. I used every method I know to reinforce the seal's eyes, but even then I could not stop it from setting a cause of death in anyone it met gazes with. My blessing could only delay the curse's full effects for a single cycle around the light that brings life. My misguided children, why did you take its eyes? Okay, so it sounds like SCP-23 is some form of creature created from the sheer hatred felt by everyone who was killed during the Holocaust, which is why it causes fire when it walks through walls. And the only thing that was stopping it from being full force destruction was it having eyes that someone took from it. Which might be in this other page of why that went down. Okay, so Personnel involved: Dr. Something and 5 disposable class people. Date something 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 to something something something. Location site something. In an attempt to curtail the danger posed by 23, Dr. Blank has approved the removal of both 23's eyes and teeth. Immediately after both its eyes were removed, 23 breached security by vanishing completely. 23 was reobtained on a stretch of interstate something at 4:37 p.m. and brought back into constraint, where D-Class personnel finished pulling out its teeth. While the total number of civilians exposed to 23 during this period is unknown, death record monitoring has tied 9 civilian deaths to this incident. Timestamps confirmed over the course of the next 48 hours that 23 vanished only while the sun was visible in the sky from outside Site Blank. Addendum 26-1. As of blank blank blank, Dr. Blank has been suspended pending disciplinary review for contributing to, if not being directly responsible for, Incident 2326. Dr. Blank is now in charge of 23. The increased difficulties in containment that have been incurred as a result of Dr. Blank's should serve to remind all personnel of the Foundation's purpose: secure, contain, and protect. Research, experimentation, convenience, and even the safety of Foundation personnel are secondary concerns. We are not working to protect ourselves. 05 blank. 26-2. A total of blank bodies with a time of death exactly 1 year after 2326 have been identified as consistent with 23 exposure. So yeah, this doctor was like, hey, let's rip out its eyes and teeth, and that immediately made it all-powerful. Huh. Okay, so that's the Black Shuck. Let's check the Game Show of Death and then the Well-Worn Wardrobe. Okay, Game Show of Death. Euclid. Hey, it's a Mr. and Mrs. Smith poster. Hidden among 5 replicas to conceal its location. It's probably that one. I'm pretty sure the arrow isn't showing up on my screen. I pointed to the middle one on the right. Due to its nature, 24 cannot be moved to a secure location, so security measures must be placed on site. To conceal its location, 24 will have at least 5 identical-looking replicas surrounding it at all times. A tight security perimeter must be maintained around 24's compound at all times, with separate security teams guarding 24 and its replicas. None of the security teams, except for team leaders, will be informed of the location of 24. 24 must be secured with magnetically sealed blast doors and reinforced armored wall to prevent unauthorized entry. Under no circumstances can any security or research personnel enter 24. Only disposable people are allowed to go in, and strictly for research. All researchers are to observe and experiment with 24 from the remote observation lab. Any personnel attempting to leave the remote observation lab or enter 24 without prior approval from a level 4 researcher must be immediately apprehended with termination authorized. So, if they try to go in, shoot the fuckers. Should containment be breached or 24's true nature compromised, then the entire compound must be destroyed via specialized demolition charges planted throughout the compound. Description: 24 is an abandoned soundstage that was once owned by Blank. However, 24 itself had been abandoned since 19-something, and is unknown whether its special properties manifested before or after its abandonment. 24 is located in the heart of Blank Blank, and was initially discovered when a group of teenage youths broke into the abandoned compound. The testimony of the lone winner when she turned herself into the police was enough to have Foundation assets mobilized to contain 24. Upon entering 24, visitors are immediately greeted by an anonymous announcer, who communicates via intercom and is able to hear and comprehend the voices of people within 24. The announcer will inform the contestants that they are about to take part in a game show, in which the winners will win fabulous prizes, but will also warn that the game will be extremely hazardous and that the losers will never leave 24. It is at this point the announcer presents the choice of whether to stay or leave 24. Contestants who accept will continue to participate in the game, while those who decline are immediately expelled from 24. Contestants that win the game or decline to participate may never enter 24 again, as entry is denied by an impenetrable invisible barrier. It is then that the contestants are led to the actual game. The style, composition, and appearance of the game always changes in every individual playthrough, but the game is always centered around a long, elaborate obstacle course that the contestants must navigate through. The rules also vary. Some playthroughs may only allow a single winner, while others encourage the creation of teams to win the game. More often than not, the obstacles seen in these games range from incredibly benign to extremely hazardous and life-threatening. As the contestants attempt to negotiate the course, the announcer will continuously update their status and actively participate in the game, often giving advice, conversing with contestants, and adding new rules. As the game progresses, the obstacles become significantly more dangerous and difficult to overcome, and it is not surprising to have the entire pool of contestants succumb to the rigors of the obstacle course. If such an event happens, the announcer will express sadness at the lack of a winner, and 24 will shut down, resetting only when a new batch of contestants enter. Any attempts to break the rules, such as assaulting other contestants and deliberately bypassing obstacles, are met by extreme violence. The announcer will call out the offending contestant, who will be quickly and forcefully ejected from the course by Studio Guardians. These Studio Guardians will immediately materialize within 24 when called upon by the announcer, and disappear when not needed. The contestant will never be seen again. When a winner is declared, he or she will receive a random grand prize. Any contestants that have survived the course but failed to win are immediately declared losers by the announcer. The lights will switch off and the winner will immediately appear outside of 24 with his or her prize, while the losers completely disappear. However, the most mysterious aspect of 24 is that after every game, a VHS tape or DVD will appear in the mailbox outside of 24's main entrance. This recording is a complete record of the entire game that was previously played, even though winners have claimed that they had never seen any cameras or recording devices inside 24. Also, more strangely, a live studio audience can be seen in the background cheering on the contestants. Again, winners have not claimed to have seen a live studio audience while inside 24. Addendum 1. So far, the list of prizes awarded to winners has included, but is not limited to, cash prizes, electronics, various consumer goods, cars, collectibles, full paid vacations to various countries, data expunged. Close examination of these prizes have confirmed that they are completely genuine and possess no unusual abilities or characteristics whatsoever. There appears to be no consistent pattern for what the prizes will be. In an attempt to track where the losers are taken, GPS locator beacons were planted on subjects D124 through D135, when group D245 was sent into 24. When the losers were taken away, all signals from the beacons were lost. Whether this is because the beacons were destroyed or because the losers were taken to an area that cannot be located via GPS is currently unknown. Addendum 3. The announcer living within 24 appears to be sentient and aware of events that take place outside of the compound. During the test group of D523, which consisted only of Dr. Blank, the announcer instead engaged in a conversation with Dr. Blank. Analysis of the conversations have shown that the majority of the subjects are centered around pop culture and information distributed through television, implying that 24 is somehow able to access and interpret television signals. Cutting all power and signal lines, as well as removing any potential wireless receiving equipment on 24, does not affect 24 in any way. When it became clear that no other contestants would participate, the announcer kindly asked Dr. Blank to leave 24, and suggested he return with more contestants. Addendum 4. The studio guardians that the announcer uses to enforce the rules vary in appearance every game, just like the course. If they appear, the Guardians will always be dressed in a manner that matches with the theme of the obstacle course. The only common attributes all Guardians share are the possession of humanoid appearance, ability to suddenly appear and disappear, superhuman strength, and face-concealing mask or headgear. However, the winners have claimed that the Guardians have no apparent shape or form inside of 24, instead appearing as huge shadowy figures that engulf the offender. Okay then. And last but not least, for this episode anyway, a well-worn wardrobe. That presumably does not go to Narnia, but it is safe. Look at that, it looks gorgeous. And it's in Foundation custody, maybe it does go to Narnia, let's find out. 25 is only to be opened during testing, as is the room in which 25 is stored. Entry codes are only to be given to authorized research and security personnel. No other containment protocols required. I just want to say that although that looks nice, that does not look well worn. 25 is a wooden wardrobe measuring 0.97 meters by 0.62 meters by 1.95 meters, whatever that means, full of clothing dating from a number of time periods. Articles contained within the chest, collectively named 25-1, match with styles of decades from the 1920s to the present. The apparel from each time frame varies with regard to style. For example, a polyester striped shirt and a pair of charcoal suit pants. Both correspond with general styles of the 1970s. Groovy. The only unifying aspect of every article contained in SCP-25 is that each one is in poor condition. Moths have eaten at much of the collection, and tears and runs are not uncommon. When any item from 25 was put on, the wearer is observed either to die or suffer an injury within 24 hours. How is that safe? Anyway, the cause of death or injury in these instances is invariably linked to the aforementioned flaws in the clothing, but only ever appears to be an unrelated incident. Wearing a glove with a fingertip cut off may result in the loss of the fingertip through a simple kitchen accident like chopping onions. Similarly, a subject wearing a poncho with a sleeve missing will somehow cause the loss of the uncovered arm, be it by an attack by a wild animal or a vehicular accident that necessitates the amputation of the limb. If placed in a sealed, unfurnished enclosure while wearing an item from the chest, the wearer will either seemingly spontaneously contract a flesh-eating disease that begins in the areas not covered by the clothing, or suffer the failure of an organ located beneath an imperfection in the article. Diseases arising from such incidents may or may not be contagious. No study has been successfully undertaken due to the speed at which the strains observed run their course. Recommended that, if possible, samples of the diseases be taken to the lab for possible weaponization. Aha. Following an abridged testing log of 25, more thorough testing will accompany the declassification of the document in its entirety. Subject, Disposable 778, a 42-year-old white man. Article, 1940s tuxedo. Torn seam in the left shoulder. Test results. Subject was allowed to walk around in the hallway until agent under so-and-so's supervision. For 45 minutes, nothing happened. However, at blank blank blank, security tapes and eyewitnesses indicate that they appeared to make an attempt at attacking the agent. He in turn overcame the subject with a knife, causing a inch-deep gash in their left shoulder precisely at the point where the tuxedo seam was ripped. Test halted. Subject later terminated. Subject, D690, a 26-year-old white man. Article, 2004 Boston Red Sox baseball cap. Missing size adjuster and back of cap. Logo in front partially removed. Oh, that's not going to end well. Placed in a sealed room with the subject was a table on which were a loaded Jericho Baby Eagle 9mm handgun, a grill lighter, and a hatchet. 690 chose to wear the baseball cap backward for the test. Potential effects of this decision on the outcome of the test are unknown. Subject expressed reluctance to touch any of the objects on the table for several hours. Food and water were provided as necessary. After 4 hours of general inactivity, subject picked up the handgun and examined it. While holding it at roughly eye level, the weapon discharged into their forehead, where the size adjustment band would have been. A round exited the subject near the part of the hat where the logo was missing. So he didn't even fire it; it just shot him in the face. All right then. Subject D736, a 22-year-old white man. D71, a 23-year-old white man. Article, burgundy striped sweater vest dating from 1973. Article seems to have been partially eaten by moths, several large holes in the front of the sweater. 736 was asked by the staff to wear the sweater vest, which he did under duress. 771 was given a loaded handgun out of the sight of the other test participant and instructed to, on any given signal, fire all 6 shots in the direction of 736. After doing so, it was noted that every shot fired passed through one of the holes in the sweater vest, leaving the clothing intact and killing 736. Firearm retrieved, surviving subject transported back to quarters. Okay. 771. Oh, didn't he already happen? Oh. Same, placed in the empty room, 15 by 15 by 15. Only thing in there were the lights. Initially complained of boredom, then lay on his back and went to sleep. After 2 hours and 14 minutes, 2 of the light bulbs suddenly dislodged and fell. Both landed squarely on holes in the sweater, shattering upon impact. One of the tubes broke into jagged pieces that impaled him in several places, but only again through the gaps already present in the sweater. Vitals persisted for another 6 minutes, then ceased. Further testing locations will be selected to minimize possible damage to the surrounding area. Subject, Dr. Blank. Unplanned experiment. An unidentified individual left an article from 25 on their desk that looked similar to an item of his own clothing. Any information about this incident and or the perpetrator of same should be reported immediately to senior staff. It was a lightweight scarf dyed a bunch of colors. Heavily pulled seam caused it to be considerably shorter and tighter in the middle. According to his itinerary, Dr. Something was wearing the item from 25 when he was en route to the enclosure for something on some day for routine testing. However, he diverged from his intended path and began a direction towards an entirely separate wing of the facility. He then entered the enclosure of SCP-173 without gathering accompaniment from or following safety procedures and, upon hearing the door closing, blinked. Cause of death listed as strangulation resulting from a crushed windpipe. Okay. That's not where I thought that was gonna go. I thought he was gonna catch on a door or something. Anyway, 802, a 30-year-old Hispanic female. Oh, it's a 30-year-old lady! Flash dance style white shirt. Right shoulder removed, left sleeve completely gone, entire bottom hem shredded. Test results. Data expunged, all present were presumed infected, then quarantined and data expunged. All further tests involving 1980s era fashion have been postponed indefinitely due to the expenditures and safety hazards presented by the aforementioned experiment. Full cleanup estimated to take an additional something weeks. I would like to have known what happened in that one. If she's wearing a shirt with missing a right shoulder, had no left sleeve, and the bottom of the shirt was shredded, how did that result in a bunch of infected and quarantined people? Why did that make them stop wearing things from the 1980s? What happened? I guess I'll never know. So, this has been Anashi Sasuke. This was episode, I want to say 11 of Let's Read the SCP Wiki, or Foundation Wiki. And in the next episode, we're going to read about After School Retention, the Vermin God, Knowledge is Power, the Daughter of Shadows, and the Homunculus. And maybe What is Love, just so I can end the video with that song. So, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Later!